Hi, everyone. Today we are joined by Shideh Heravi. She is an UX researcher, a product designer, and the founder of Healthblokk. Welcome. Hi. Happy to have
Hi.
you here. All right. So before we get into this episode, can you introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah, sure. My name is Shideh Heravi. I'm from Iran originally, and I have been living in Austria since 8 years. My background comes from digital product design, and the last 5 years I was focusing on UX research. And in 2020, I was very into, actually, it's been 2018, I was very into founding startup, participating in different kind of hackathons, and finally this year I decided to start with my own and put all my energy and all my cards on the table to give it a try.
That's extremely exciting, but I can also imagine that it's a bit scary. At least it was for us, I do remember. But before we get into
Yeah,
that, what led you to found Healthblokk? That's the app you're talking about, right?
right, exactly. So Healthblokk comes from my own personal experience. I found out 5 years ago I'm lactose intolerant. The way that I found out and how long it took me to find out was very challenging and exhausting. I was sick about 9 months and I got different kind of diagnoses like you are so stressed, you have depression, oh food poisoning. I was like, I cannot have food poisoning every week. It's not possible. And then I did like a lot of different kind of endoscopy and blood tests, different kind of tests until the last doctor told me, you know what, there is a test, but it costs 80 euro. Do you want to do it? It's like, hell yes, please. And yeah, finally I did a test and it was immediately positive. I was lactose intolerant. It's basically um breathing test that you just blow into a device and then is measure the H2 of your breathing, of your breath. And it was immediately positive on lactose, and they do also the fructose always at the same time. And then at that point, I was super happy that I knew what is going on and that I'm just lactose intolerant. I'm not crazy. But afterwards, just adopting my diet was a whole, yeah, it was not that easy to figure out where lactose is, to just read a lot. Like imagine you go to the supermarket, you take the product and you just put your glasses on, you start reading all these tiny little texts to find out if there is something inside this food that makes you sick or not. It started from that experience until the point that I didn't go out with my friends anymore. I was always saying, no, sorry guys, I'm so busy. I cannot join you tonight for dinner because I was so afraid to go to the restaurant, eat something that makes me sick again. Um, that was that time. So I told myself, why not having a blog? So I could just make a blog and just share about my experience, what happens, where I go. I usually, to the restaurant, and I love traveling. So I was traveling a lot and I was discovering restaurants. But I was working full time that time. And for me, it was really important that I work full time, get my citizenship, and have a little bit of a stable life for a while. But besides that, I always wanted to start my business. I tried constantly in the last 5 years to start a business besides my full-time job. And I was also studying psychology at the same time. It didn't work out. Didn't work out until this year. Until this year, I told myself, um, it should be a job out there that I can do, that I just do this one job and I'm not doing 5 other jobs besides it.
Do you feel like the being, because we always joke about like how when you're self-employed you're doing like 5 jobs at a time. Do you
Yeah.
feel like you're doing only one job now, or do you still feel like it's like a lot of different things at the same time?
To be honest, I was counting how many different job positions I have. I have about 8 every day that I'm
Yeah.
changing. So
Yeah, that checks
no,
out with our
yeah.
experience as well.
I have to say it's also exciting, and I think for me, what the point that I decided to quit my job or doing something else was the point that I was asking myself, why am I constantly bored of my job? I'm looking for something else to do besides.
Yeah, well, it doesn't get boring for sure.
Yeah, being self-employed definitely doesn't get boring. You mentioned you were trying to start a business for a long time and it never worked out. Why didn't it work out? Or like, was it financial reasons? Was it the idea that wasn't the right one? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. In 2018 and 19, I won 4 hackathons in Vienna. So I got the money, I had the idea, and what I was missing was a team. Since I was completely new in Vienna, I didn't know a lot of people. So for me, it was a big challenge to put right people together to get kick-starting a startup. Building a startup, there are many different components, but one of the very important and necessary part of the startup is a team. So is the team is matched together, they enjoy working together. Doesn't matter how okay, it's matter how is the market, but you can have a semi-okay product market, but a great team. So you still can be successful. So that's what I was missing in last years.
Wow, okay, so really interesting to hear that network and knowing the right people is also so relevant in the startup scene. We hear it a lot when we have guests on the podcast who have a creative business and agency, or they're doing it alone. They're like a single solopreneur in the creative industry. They always mention how important network is and community. So it's interesting to hear that also from the startup perspective, how important that is.
Yeah, also,
Right.
before you put together a team, did you already validate the idea, or was it something that happened before you put together a team?
Right. So this time when I started with my idea, the first question I asked myself was how many other people have the same problem. Then I started my market research, and afterwards I start talking to people. This is a natural thing that comes with me as a UX researcher, because when you're constantly doing that, you're asking yourself how many people, and you stop guessing, you start asking. That's what happens when you're doing research, and that's a quality that I took with me from my previous experiences, and I used it in my startup. So I stopped guessing and I asked myself how many other people have this problem, how big is my market, and do they want it? Because there is one problem, right? People are struggling to find a restaurant in this area with different diet, if they are gluten intolerance, lactose intolerance. But the question is, can I solve this problem? And if yes, if there is a problem that is really want to be solved, yes, then the question how? Because I can solve this problem with many different ways. I can have a blog, I can make a YouTube video, I can make an Instagram channel, just share with everyone what I go and eat. I can solve this one problem with many different kind of ways. So it doesn't have to be an application, it doesn't have to be a website. It can be solved with WhatsApp group even, or WhatsApp community.
And then what made you decide to do an app?
I talked to about 15 people, and then I asked them, okay, how do you solve your problem right now? Told me, well, I go to the Google Map, I try to find something there, but I cannot find something there. Then I go to the websites, different blogs, and I try to get information there. Finally, I find a restaurant that has a good rating. After that, I try to find their menu. If I don't find, I call them, or I just go there and ask them. And then I ask myself, how many minutes or hours do you need, myself, to find a restaurant? And I ask this question to other people. How many minutes or hours do you need to find a restaurant? How do you do it when you traveling? Like, you don't have a lot of time every time to look for the right restaurant. That was the point that I told myself, so, well, I can make it faster and better. And at that point, so I had a problem. I had a kind of a solution for that problem. And then it's like a solution problem fit stage of building a startup. When you have a match, you can test it with paper prototype, with just a really simple black and white prototype to test the concept. When the concept is match fit, people say, wow, actually, it's 3 times faster. Then I say, perfect, then I'm gonna build it for you.
I really love it. I love how you explain it. It makes total sense.
I feel like it makes so much sense to people who know nothing about startups,
Exactly.
which is really great for our audience. We are currently also like in the process of building a tool, and I feel like we've had a similar process to you. For me, it's like I feel comforted that we're doing it right because I kind of trust your knowledge on it, which is very cool. Thank you for that. For people who don't know how Healthblokk works or what it is, can you just quickly describe like the user
Sure.
experience and what it offers?
Yeah. So Healthblokk is a platform where people with different kind of diets, especially a complex diet, can filter out restaurants and see where they can eat out and what they can eat exactly. From another side, we're helping restaurants to communicate their menu transparency in the way that our AI identifies allergies and then verify the allergies on their menu. So the menu just talk by itself. That's our goal.
That's amazing. It's interesting you mentioned AI too. What did you want to ask?
Before you get into
Yeah.
AI, can you just table that for a second? I was just really curious because you were mentioning that you have on the one side you have users and on the other side you have restaurant partners, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
those are basically your two, not really user bases, but your two pillars that this app serves.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that right?
exactly. So it's a platform. We have two sides. We have provider and consumers. The consumers are like me, and providers are the restaurant that they provide information and data. So we make this thing happens. There is really something also interesting that I learned that I would honestly share with you guys if you're at this stage, is that I built this product, right? I thought, wow, amazing. People want it. People really want it. So I built it. I brought it into the market, and no one actually used it for a while. And I was really disappointed. I was like, you know how many development hours and money we invest into this app that you guys are not using it? I was like, you told me you're gonna use it, but now it's in the market. Just use it, right? That's what it was in my head, because we had a waiting list. We had a waiting list of 70 people. So I thought, wow, that's amazing. In like 1 week, we got 70 people in our waiting list. So we have a proof of concept. And we had interviews that people were saying, yes, amazing, that's going to definitely help me, I'm going to use it. I will talk about like how to ask questions as well, because there's a mom test. I don't know if you guys are aware of that or not. It's really important, not priming people, leading people to give you the answers that you want to hear, because everyone will be nice with you. So we're really careful there, because I made experience as a UX researcher to ask right questions. Even we did a lot of research, but no one used our app. So I told myself, okay, now at this stage, either I have to give up or I have to find out why. And obviously I found out why. And it was simple. They told me, amazing app, looks great, but I still don't know what exactly I can eat at this restaurant. I need more information. I need exact information. I wanted to always have one side market. I didn't want to have this chicken egg problem that everyone talks about, or like this two-side market. And I didn't want to have anything to do with gastronomy market. I was like, no, thanks. Because it's always hard to talk to them. They never have time. It's really hard to hear no, but as a founder, you learn to hear no in a really hard way sometimes. And you need to learn to not take it personally, say, okay, no, so whatever, just move on, because every no brings you closer to this first yes. That's how I try to see it and try to deal with it. So what happens? No one used it. So I said, okay, now why? What should we do? Then I found out we need exact numbers, which brought me to the point that I said, okay, now I have to work with the gastronomy, which was the best decision ever. So instead of being out house and imagining what gastronomy needs, I went in-house and I tried to find the root of the problem. The root of the problem was the gastronomy didn't have time and the capacity or any kind of tools that helps them to be transparent, to be communicated in their menu, what is in their food. So if they would communicate it, I wouldn't have that problem, and I wouldn't need any kind of apps to show me what to eat. I could just go to the
Definitely, yeah.
restaurant, see down the menu
Yeah.
what I can eat.
Yeah, it's
So
already
that's
difficult enough with vegetarian/vegan diet because sometimes even the V's, you have not, what does it mean? I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes it's not clear. Sometimes they say it's vegetarian, but it's something's listed there where you feel like it's not.
exactly.
Like that happens a lot with like
Like soups.
Thai food. Like sometimes there's fish
Yeah.
sauce, but it says it's vegetarian, and then you're like, that can't be right.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means then you started talking to the restaurants and got them involved in the process.
Exactly. Now we're mainly focused on B2B, and we are selling our B2B solution product, which we involved AI to speed up the process and make it fast and easy for the restaurants to have a digital menu that is transparent and with filtering systems so people can immediately filter and see what they can eat. Whatever you usually need to ask, we digitalized at all. And we onboarded last month and this month our pilot customers, gastronomy, and our goal is to expand in Europe slowly in next year. So that's where we're standing right now.
I like
Very
the
cool.
idea.
Yeah, you already answered my question on AI, which was just going to be like how you use it and what it does, but that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's also such an important example of how AI can make work faster and easier, which then also makes it more likely that somebody will do it. Because like you said, they don't have the time, they don't have the energy, maybe also not really the knowledge. And then they have AI, which helps them do all of that. And then that also makes it easier for everybody involved, which is super cool.
Yeah. So also, since you mentioned you're primarily B2B now, that's probably then also where the income stream comes from, right? Or is it also
Exactly.
coming from the users who use it? Or is it just like restaurant partnerships?
From 2027, we will have, in about 1.5 years, we will have B2C side, also premium, but at the moment it's freemium for all B2C users. We will have that time an AI agent involved that makes you to plan your trip to the different cities or countries you want to go to, find the right restaurant, find the right food in the way that you just say, find me vegan pancake close to my hotel, and it's just listing it for you and it save it for you on the map and in your collection. So that will come, but in a later time, and at that time
Can
we will have a
you
premium.
can you add Japan to your countries, please? I'm begging.
Yes.
I'm gonna advocate for that.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
we've both been there and we both are vegan, vegetarian, and it was a lot of work finding
Yeah.
places. We have
You
to do
did
a lot
most
of
of the work for
I
me.
did a lot of the research for you, yeah, because I'd
Oh my
been there
god.
first. But yeah, it's a lot of research involved. Like you said, like
Yeah.
hours really go into
Yeah, and you
that.
just want to know, I want to eat, I don't know, like ramen. What are
I
the options?
love the idea of being able to ask an AI like, "Hey, I want to eat pancakes now. My hotel is here. Where can I go?"
Yeah, that's
That's
Exactly.
amazing.
really life-changing
Life
for
changing. I
real.
love it.
I'm such a big
Yeah.
like foodie and I love going to restaurants, so
Same. So this
I'm
really speaks to
obsessed with
me.
it.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're gonna release certain features that are B2C that are behind the paywall. And I wanted to ask you in like a general question about the roadmap. How
Mhm.
did you decide which features are like MVP features and which features are something that makes sense to roll out in the future?
Right. One of the main way of doing that is having a survey and ask people to actually tell you what they want now and what they want later. That's the best and easy way. Then it's based on user data, but there is also a business decision in it, right? Which feature brings us faster to the revenue? Why? Because we are bootstrapping. Or why? Because we need attraction. That's also one of the component that makes you to make decision on the features. But very user centers and finding a middle point for user and business is the best way is to make a survey. So you don't have one user that tells you, you have 100 users that 50 of them telling you, I would like to have filtering system. That's how I also decided on offering a filtering system as well.
That
So it's like building in public and including the community in the decision making, which is very cool. And
it's
Definitely.
amazing. Also, I really love how your background in UX.
Yeah.
comes in so handy for the building process. And it's, again, just to show how important UX work is, because it's really about involving the community, involving real people, getting real user data.
And making
Right.
decisions based on data and not based on like feeling or what you personally think would be best, which is also something we are
Exactly.
always talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's
Right.
also really important to us. You mentioned that you had a team pretty early on, right?
Right.
How did you finance the whole project? Like, how did you finance the team? How did you finance building the first prototypes or the first MVP and going into the market?
Right. So the first thing I did when I had the idea, I decided to participate in startup programs because I knew I need a community, I need help. That's where the first team came together in Zurich, actually, and it was my first startup program that I participate. And then slowly, I moved back to Vorarlberg because I felt obviously more comfortable to start a company here because I knew already the rules that I learned in last 7 years. And building a company in Zurich in Switzerland was a different type, and I needed a lot more money. So I needed about 100K compared to what I needed in Austria. I could just register Flexco, which is a flexible company with 5,000 euro. So it's a huge difference between like trying to gather 100K and just taking 5,000 euro from your bank account, which you have it probably in your saving. If not, it's easy to collect. That's how actually I decided to come back here, and I started to reach out to the people that I knew in Austria. And from the beginning, I had a co-founder, and he was very focused on AI. What I really liked about him, he had a critical thinking. So he didn't say yes to whatever I said, which was sometimes challenging, but it was amazing. It was a good match. He listened to me. He didn't say no, but he also brought argues and asked me right questions so I can reflect instead of just react and react. That helped me a lot to think about, do we need that really? Do we need this really? Should we really consider these features to start with? And that's really helped me. The team that I got from the startup campus in Zurich was they were other founders, and it was kind of a project that they joined my project to help me to build my startup, but they were still very focused on their own startup and own stuff. But I got lucky with 2 team members in my team that they were really invested, and they did a lot with research and also with development from the beginning. And when I moved back to Austria, I started collecting because I learned how to choose people. And the way that I collected people, I made a chart for myself that I learned from a coach. He told me there are 4 type of people: that they want it, they have the skill, perfect, take them. They really want it, they don't have the skill, still take them. They don't want it, but they have the skill. He told me there are, what word should I use? Don't take them. Don't take them. And if they don't want it and they don't have the skill, just forget about them. So just focusing on top part of the chart, I try to find people that they really wanted, but they didn't have the skill. It's okay, you learn because you want it. And also they wanted and they had the skills. So from beginning, the motivation was not money. And I told them my vision, what I want to do. And they joined me from the beginning, just helping me. And slowly, so it grows. And I was like, wow, I want to have these people. And I knew it. Either I'm going to give them part of the company or I'm going to start paying them. And that's what exactly happened. With my first developer that we employed in the company, he's full-time now with us and he's getting paid. And he quitted his job to join me. And I remember the date that we talked about it. I told him, you know what you're doing with your life, right? And he said, yes. And I told him, I feel really responsible for it, but did you really think through it? Because we're startup, we're like, there is no stability, there is no free time, there is many no-nos. And he was like, yeah, Shideh, I believe in you and I believe in what we are doing. And I have 3 months of my salary saved. And I was like, at least we have 3 months.
Yeah, it's extremely scary to be responsible for people. That
Yes.
too, we had like a team of 4 people. Like in total, we were 6, and that was extremely stressful to be able to pay 4 people. And here you have to pay them 14 times a year.
Yeah.
So that was extremely stressful for us too. Now we have reduced, and it's a bit better. But
Yeah.
totally understand the part where you feel like, oh, are you sure about this? Like we're just trying to grow. We're just getting started. Yeah. So
I feel like
Yeah.
that's a good place to move on to one of the main things we wanted to talk about in this episode, and that's resilience.
Right.
How do you deal with that uncertainty and that pressure? Not just being responsible for people like employees, but also being responsible for the success of the main thing you're doing. I mean, you said you're putting 100% into the startup. So how do you deal
Right.
with that?
Right. Before starting with the startup, I realized that I spend a lot of money on coaching and therapies because I'm getting so burnt out from my work that I have to do that. And that was one of the reasons why I told myself, you know what, just just let's do what you want to do, and let's have this flow mode state of mind, this flourishing feeling every day, waking up and say, hell yeah, I want to do it. Not waking up like, it's Monday again, or waking up tired. So that's what I was looking for, and that's what drives me, this feeling that I wake up in the morning and I tell myself, hell yeah, I'm gonna do and finish this stuff. But still, there is a lot of uncertainty. So I had a month that I had no idea if my company exists in next day, if I can pay myself in next month. I had a month that I had no idea if I can pay my rent. But I learned, as long as you do what you love and what drives you, the I don't know how to describe, the universe is working for you in the way that in the way that the positive feeling that you're producing is getting back to you. What really helped me was having really off time, in the way that I really let myself few minutes in the morning to waking up and say, okay, how do you feel today? Um and then adjusting my work to my energy and cutting down many things, cutting down a lot of things. I was a crazy climber. I loved climbing and bouldering, and I was doing it every day last years. And I'm not doing it now once a month at the moment, maybe at least once a month. And I deal with that and I accepted it. I accept, okay, I cannot be that climber that I was because I'm doing this. And I think that helped me to learn to accept the situation, to learn to be responsible for that, and asking myself, do you really want it? If yes, do it. If not, forget it. So few things help me really to keep up with the speed and everything that happens right now with the startup was accepting, cutting down everything, cutting down the conversations that drown me, people that they drown me. Really being careful with my boundaries and the amount of energy that I have. Besides doing some breath work time to time, which helped me a lot, and building kind of a routine that helps you to feel that you take time, that you give yourself the love that you deserve to get. And that's really helping me. So sometimes I just go to the salon and let myself to be treated. Like something simple. Let's say I'm just gonna go for making my hair, and then I let my hair to get washed, and I take this time to do nothing and just be there in this moment. Wake up in the morning doing 20 minutes of running or yoga. Just being there in that moment, let yourself feel the moment. And that's really helped me a lot to balancing out my amount of work that I'm doing with showing myself I'm still there for myself, and I'm taking whatever is there seriously.
Yeah, I think it's extremely difficult to find the balance between like treating yourself, but also treating the company, especially in the beginning. And I do remember that we were like working 24/7. I didn't even have like weekends for myself anymore.
Yeah,
And right now we're at a point where we like really take this time off. We're like, no,
yeah,
next week it's gonna be fine. No one's gonna die. It's all okay. We are like not in a serious in an emergency type of business where we really have to be like on call.
One of the things you said which really resonates with me is the thing about letting yourself do whatever your energy, like the energy level that you have, adjusting your day or your tasks according to that, which I think is so
yeah,
important because it's something I've done recently, like in the last year or 2 years. I think a lot of the time, like I used to have this guilt feeling, like if I didn't do enough on one day, then I would feel like super guilty about it. And now it's not like that. It's like, okay, I don't have a lot of energy today. Like, what tasks can I do that are low energy that I still feel like I've done something productive? And if I'm like super not inspired on that day, I just won't do anything and I won't make myself feel bad about it either. Because like you said, like there's always next week, there's always tomorrow. Like I don't think
yeah,
we're so used to this 9 to 5 schedule. And if you're an entrepreneur, you should be working 24/7 on your business, and this hustle culture and all this stuff, which is so toxic and really bad for your mental health, which we had experienced that as well.
yeah.
So yeah, I totally get that. I think it's so important and to remind yourself like it's okay to take time for yourself and then you have time and energy for the rest.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still working on it, to be honest. For since Sunday, I'm working from 6 until 10 o'clock, sometimes until 11 o'clock in the evening. But I told myself it's okay this week. We need to get these things done. But this weekend, I told myself this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, you're gonna take off in the morning and evening, and you're gonna do totally something different. And that's my plan for this weekend, because on Sundays we have always meetings in the team, since our team members, they're also working besides, so they have more time on the weekend. So that's why I had to work on the weekend to adjust myself or adopt myself to their schedules too. And that was a challenge for me last month, to have a day off, which many times didn't work out that I get a day off. um, yeah, I was going out for a walk. I told myself, I'm not gonna work. Shideh, today you're not gonna work. You're just gonna go out for a walk. And I just walk into 5 restaurants and start talking with them. And
The workaholic gene is very common when you're like an
But it's
entrepreneur.
also so much
yeah,
fun. It's really difficult to find the fine line because you're doing something that you really love doing. So it
yeah,
doesn't feel like working. And sometimes it does, but oftentimes it doesn't. And so you
yeah,
find yourself doing it because, I mean, for me at least, speaking for myself, it's also kind of like my hobby. So I'm
yeah.
actually just doing my hobby, but I should actually also be like careful with always doing my hobby because otherwise I will get burned out knowing
The
myself.
thing is that your brain is still like work. Like for your brain, there's no difference between that and working. So like that's where that burnout then can happen, is because your brain is just constantly working, never shutting off, and it's not healthy. But I get
Exactly.
I get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do feel super motivated on the weekend and I'll just use that time. Or
Yeah,
like you said, we'll have like a week that's really stressful and then I know it's temporary and
right.
then the next week will be better or different. And I think it's okay to have like its phases and it comes in waves. It's just important to, if you do have times where you're investing a lot, to then
Yeah,
also have times where you're taking time off.
exactly.
And as long as you find a balance, it's usually fine.
One thing that I would add is, really, I do recommend to cut down the stuff that they are not necessary anymore. I had to cancel 3 meetings this week. Like, didn't had to. Actually, I decided to cancel them because I asked myself, is it bringing me value that I'm looking for at this stage? Is it gonna bring me forward? Is it a conversation that is a win-win? If not, then I'm out for now. And that's something that I definitely recommend to do. Be careful with your energy and take it seriously to ask yourself those questions. Is it gonna help me to come forward? Is it a win-win situation or not?
Yeah, it's important to check in with yourself. We also like keep preaching that
I
in
also,
a lot of forms.
yeah, and I also think that what you're saying about using your time wisely is something that's really important also for creatives, because I think a lot of creative businesses, um they will take any client call because like a lead is a lead. But the problem is that not every lead is good, and not every lead is going to
Exactly.
lead to a project, and then you can waste a lot of time on somebody that isn't benefiting you. They're not going to give you a lot of money. They're not interested in your value, and they're just, at the end of the day, they waste your time. And it's important to be able to know, like, is this somebody who is going to bring me something of value in exchange for this conversation at some point, or are they just wasting my time? So that's very important
Exactly.
advice as well.
Mm,
Yeah.
I wanna pivot a little bit.
Yeah.
And I wanna I don't know, reinhaken. I don't know how to say in English. I wanna
Dive deeper.
thank you. Okay, so I wanna dive deeper into something you said at the very beginning because it stuck with me. And it was about asking questions
Mhm.
and asking people. Because what you did, from what I'm hearing, is you went to a startup program and you probably pitched your idea. You asked people to help you, or you asked people, um, do you want this app? How should that look like? Like
Mhm.
basically about the power of asking, or like the power of
Yeah.
asking questions.
Yeah.
And and did that all come from your background as UX researcher? And was it scary starting to ask questions?
Yeah. I think at some point I'm gonna write a book about power of asking, and I'm gonna name it exactly that way. Why I mentioned that and why I believe in this power of asking is that a lot of things that happen in my life, I didn't let it happen. I wanted it and I asked for it, and that helped me. That was one of the let's say, all of us has a superpower, right? I have the feeling sometimes asking for me work as my superpower. The first startup program that I get into, first I got a declined. They told me, sorry, we don't have, well, you cannot participate at this point. And I write a letter back and I said, like, sorry, could you please explain me why? Because the quality of my video that I sent it to you was good, and everything that you requested was actually listed. So what could be the reason? I would like to learn and grow. And they got back to me. They told me the reason we didn't accept you because we have too many startups on this day, on Wednesday course. If you want to really participate, you can participate on Thursday. I was like, I don't care which day. I want to participate. So I think that's something we forget, especially we are females. We are afraid of asking. I don't say everyone, right? I'm just talking about a majority. And we want to be polite for whatever reason. We are coming from different culture. And what I realize very often is that we think about something, but we don't ask. So you see a nice guy. Wow, he's looking good. He don't have a ring, okay? He don't have any girl around him. And you're like, should I ask him? No, forget it. And you just pass by and you don't ask that guy. And he's stuck in your head for, I don't know, weeks or something like that. It happens to few of my friends. And I told them, guys, just ask him. Then I was with one of my friends one time. She told me, oh, look at this guy. So I'm going to ask him. I just went to the guy and I told him, are you single? He said, yes. Do you want to date my friend? Who is your friend? Like, this friend. Yeah, sure, why not? And they're actually together now.
That's
And
amazing.
and a lot of things that happens in my life, I ask for it. I don't say it's always good, but I have to say it opens a lot of doors. So I don't go to my investor and tell him, hey, give me 100K, and I would do that. I mean, I don't say I don't do that, but what I really want to do is, like, I want to learn from these people. I want to see if that person brings me value or not. Why should I accept him as someone to give me the money? What should I do with your money when you don't have any other value for me? So I ask him questions. I'm not afraid of asking questions. Okay, I need your money, but I need to know what you brings me on the table. And can you be my mentor, please? Or can you help me with that? Uh, yeah, so for me, it was really hard to ask for help. When I was younger, when I was in Iran, I didn't want to even ask my dad or mom to help me. The point that I accepted that I need help and I have to ask for help was in 2018 in Vienna. I was minus 50 euro and all my saving was gone. So I was a student, bachelor student. I was allowed to work 10 hours. I overworked myself in a restaurant that I was working 25 hours per week. Plus that I helped a lot of startups for free because I wanted to learn from them and see how they do it in Austria. And plus I had a German classes and everything. So I was running out of money rapidly. I didn't know what to do. And that time a guy told me, I give you this money and you have to accept it, because if you don't accept this money, I'm just going to spend it on my motorbike and I'm going to buy a piece of motorbike, which is not necessary, but you need this money. And that time I accepted that money and I was crying on that day that I accepted, and I didn't really want to accept it. But that actually show me why we need each other, why we need network, why we need this community, why we need family, why we need friends, because we are there to help each other to grow. We are there to be there for each other. So why not asking when you need help?
Yeah, that's very. Oh, but I just got chills.
Very powerful.
Yes.
And completely true. That's what community is for. I think that's something we forget. This thing about how you used to ask your neighbor for flour. I actually saw a TikTok about this, and this neighbor came over who had never talked to his neighbors before, and he needed mayonnaise for his sandwich. And the guy filmed it because he's like, why is my neighbor asking me for mayo for a sandwich? And everyone in the comments was like, oh my God, the world is healing. We're like asking our neighbors for things again.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so nice because it's like that used to be really normal that you would go to your neighbors for like something you're missing to cook a meal or bake something.
Yeah, also asking questions is such a big deal, especially I think that it taps into the idea if I have to ask for it, it's kind of like I feel like awkward about it. I feel shameful about asking. I think a lot of people, I mean me included in the past especially, felt like really, yeah, shameful to ask questions because I shouldn't be asking this question at this stage. I don't know. I feel unsure. And we have actually had a lot of people on this podcast that told us about the power of asking. Like, oh, they just asked other people how much they charge, or they just asked other people what their process looked like. And a lot of
Right.
people are extremely helpful, and you underestimate how helpful people are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true.
And you mentioned there's one thing I do want to touch upon in this episode, because you mentioned that you feel like as women, we are probably taught to be more, I don't know, like shy or not demanding, and asking
Yeah.
can come across as demanding. What has your experience been like as a female founder in the tech space? Because I feel like that's probably not the only thing that you've noticed about yourself or about the industry that is different as a woman.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's also shown me it's way different for us as a woman. When I also participate in female founders, because then I realize it's not only me, it's other females that are experiencing the same thing. We are women. We are involving our emotions. We are thinking more than taking actions, and we want to make things right for everyone, for everything, and we want to make it, we want to be right, we want to have this perfect thing, this imagination that we have in our head. I'm talking about majority, I'm talking about the people that I met. And what was very interesting for me was that we are waiting so long with our products, with our ideas to be so good before we go to the market. We are waiting so long to apply for a job position because we are unsure if my quality or my qualification it fits to this job position. I often not something like crazy, like I apply for a job that I didn't have everything in my resume, but I still applied and I got the job. But I had also these thoughts: Am I enough? Is it enough? Is it good enough? Do I have these skills? And that happens a lot in females community, that you see that, and we are realizing that, we know that, we are aware of it, and we are talking about it now. And I'm really happy about that we start talking about this point of view where we are maybe stuck or seeing that. And I believe when we start talking about it and bringing more awareness, it's okay. If you're not sure about something, just, if you think it's silly or stupid, say, sorry for my silly and stupid question, but I have to ask that. Can I apply for this job, or can I have this job? Just still ask that with my qualifications, with whatever I have. And I'm unfortunately still doing it in some parts. Like today morning, I spent an hour to finish our email that I could just, which I finished it in the first 5 minutes. It was perfect. But I spent the next 45 minutes to just think about, is it good enough, or should I just change this and this part and that part? And if it would be my team member, a guy, a male team member, he would just send it in the first 5 minutes.
So relatable.
She spends so much time on
It takes me
email.
an hour to just send like a 2-sentence email. It's so embarrassing. I hate it. I mean, thanks to ChatGPT, I got faster now. So thank God.
Do you feel like, in comparison to your male counterparts, I'm assuming you met a lot of men in these startup
Yeah.
programs that you were involved in. Were there any times where you felt like you had to fight for like being seen or being heard, or like what were some of the challenges that you faced, or you feel like you faced as a woman in the startup
Yeah.
scene?
Yeah. Yes. And it's a strong yes, because well, like, there were a few points. The first thing, a friend of mine, she told me, usually the successful startup founders, they are these white males with a pillow behind them, or the family and the dad and mom are rich enough to give them the money, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, why not? If you have it, use it and build this business and go to the market. Use it, why not? But what I wanted to show was, someone like me is also possible to do the same thing. It's harder for me, and I thought about it. I thought about, wow, it's gonna be way harder for you, Shideh. Do you really want to do it? And to be honest, it's harder, but it's not that hard. Because if you ask right people for right help, if you really want to do something, it's possible and you can do it. And talking about a female part of it, yes, you are sometimes getting really awkward questions. When do you want to get kids? I'm here to talk about business. Why do you want to know when I'm going to get kid? Maybe I don't get kid ever. Why do you want to know that?
Yeah,
And
that's
many other
crazy.
things. Just seeing you as a someone who can run a startup for next 10 years to next 15 years, and all the responsibilities. So yes, they might have a softer look at you as a female, but it's changing. You feel the change right now in Austria and in other markets. But I have to say, yes, for many males, it's easier to raise money because they just take action, they ask, and they don't afraid of being annoying. And we are females, we don't want to be annoyed annoying someone. And you feel it, the way they look at you, the way they talk with you, and the way they take you seriously. But it's changing, and I'm really happy about that.
That's amazing. And it's really important that there are people doing it like you that then hopefully change also the systemic issues surrounding it. Seeing the time, I'm gonna move to the last question, which is what advice would you give to your younger self about starting a business in general, and also things you feel like you would have liked to hear before you started to make you feel like maybe less stressed about it or better about it? Anything you feel like would be helpful to someone who wants to do something similar?
I would give 2 things away. First would be just do it. And the second thing is ask for it and don't be afraid of calling. Like if you have to pay something and you don't have the money, just call them, tell them, I'm sorry, I don't have the money. I would pay you later. So don't be afraid of asking and just do it.
Love
Good.
that.
Love that.
Concise.
Yeah.
To the point.
Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed speaking with you. I feel like we could have talked about every single topic for much longer. And yeah, I'm super excited to see like what happens in the future. You seem to have a lot planned for your business, so I'm excited to see where it goes.
Thank you both and both Rebecca's. It was amazing talking to you guys. And I have a lot of takeaways to take with me from this session as well. Enjoy talking to you both.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Never Went to Business School. Don't forget to follow us here on Spotify. And if you enjoy our content, check out our YouTube channel for more educational videos and subscribe to our newsletter on Substack.